Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the live stream. I'm so glad you've joined me this evening. I've switched things up a little bit. You may have noticed there was a new intro music, and I've changed some of the cameras around. Hopefully that will help with me moving the cameras. It won't make you as motion sick when we get into the painting, but I'm so glad you joined me on the live stream tonight. I have something very exciting that we are going to paint this evening, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. So let's jump into the painting this evening really quickly. Before I get started though, I want to just give you a heads up of how this works. If you've been here before, you've heard the spiel, but the live stream is very much like an open house. You pop in, pop out whenever you like, and you can comment anywhere you're watching this. You can join the conversation in the comments. I love engaging with you in the comments. So please feel free to ask questions, to comment, to engage. I'm so glad to have you this evening, and I'm excited to paint a really fun painting this evening with you. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to put up a reference photo for you here on the screen. This is what we're going to be painting, this lighthouse in Santa Cruz, California. Several years ago, I took this picture right at sunset or kind of dusk, and it was just beautiful. And so that's what we're going to be painting this evening. Welcome as you're coming into the room. I see several people popping in. Lola, it's always good to see you. I hope that you are having a great week and it's not quite as cold there as it is here. We had a real Arctic dive, and unfortunately it may be headed across the country. I don't know, but we went from I think 45 degrees a couple days ago to a high of -8 today, or -5. So it's very, very cold. I came up early into the studio to turn on the heater, get things going, get it warmed up. I put on a jacket as well, just because it is so cold. So, all right, let's get started. Oh, it was 50 today. Yeah, that's what we had a few days ago. So I am envious of you. All right, I'm going to set up my cameras here, which you all will see me doing, but usually the camera is attached to that's the greeting camera, and so it's usually makes you all a little bit sick, but I don't want to do that. So I'm switching up and using my computer camera, but let me put on my palette so you can see that. And we'll have to switch that around. Let me try. Oh, I'm not sure. It looks like the camera is upside down. Let's see. Oh, there we go. That allows us to... Okay, that's right side up. All right, apologize about that. Now let me switch over to this camera. That way you'll be able to see me painting here. And it's as close to direct on as I can get with the painting. You'll notice that I have conditioned or kind of used some raw umber or burnt umber, sorry, to kind of condition the canvas. That way it will cover better as we get started. So let's jump in with and kind of draw a quick sketch to kind of set our composition a little bit. So I'm going to do some movement here. Welcome, welcome. I see more people popping in. Feel free to engage in the comments, ask questions. converse. Glad to have you all here. I don't think, for some reason, my live stream software sometimes syndicates over to Facebook and Twitch and LinkedIn and everything, but it looked like tonight it wasn't. So it may just be us on YouTube. That's why everybody should be subscribed on YouTube, right? That's what we say. Okay. So this is a fairly small canvas. So let me kind of, I want the main part of the lighthouse to be over here. And we're just kind of drawing a rough sketch just to give us an idea. This will actually sit up a ways probably because it looks like there's kind of a railing that goes around. And we'll have a flag out here. That'll kind of give us the placement of the lighthouse. So it'll probably go more like this, because that'll be the sunny side, and this will be the shadow side. But we'll get that all figured out as we go. Welcome everybody as you're coming in. Glad to have you on the live stream. When I first started painting, some of these things I would sketch out or, measure kind of ahead of time, especially when I was doing animals, which is helpful. But I realized I want to really, drawing is something that I am not trained in painting either, but drawing definitely. So I have just a rudimentary understanding of, or a skill with perspective and these types of things. That's why things can really start looking wonky, and it's more trial and error with me. But it is something that I want to improve my skill with, and so little by little, that is something that I want to work on. But by forcing myself to do these kind of exercises where I sketch out real fast, it forces me to not rely on a tracing or a traced image. And it really makes me focus on kind of that, developing that skill and looking at what am I actually seeing. And you'll notice I'm adjusting even as I'm fine-tuning some of this. I'm adjusting perspective and all kinds of things. So that's kind of what's going on in my head and in my experience because there are amazing artists that trace and use sketches, and I think that's completely viable. I don't think that's cheating as all as long as you are creating the art and you're not just tracing someone else's work. Obviously, that could be a little problematic, but this is just something I decided that I want to do. I want to Hi there, Pixelated Beast. Thanks so much for joining over in Twitch land. My live stream is just my process learning to paint. I started learning about a year and a half ago, teaching myself on YouTube. So I stream every week and paint something different every week and learn something different. So feel free to stay as long or as short as you'd like. It's kind of just like an open house. People pop in and pop out. But I am glad that you are here. Oh, do you really? I will definitely have to, after the live stream, I'll have to check out check out your work. Do you post or do you stream on Twitch, or do you stream at all, or do you have Instagram or something I can see your work? Do you post it anywhere online? Always love to meet new artists. All right, what I'm doing here is kind of just obviously blocking in some of this, the values here, trying to, and it's not working too well, but I know where I'm going, so it's all right. Kind of the light side of this I'm just trying to kind of show form a little bit. That way I can layer up and layer in. I stream, but not my drawings. Ah, gotcha. Good deal. Well, I am glad to have you here. Glad you popped in. I am, like I said, just learning, but the goal this year, I'm really focused. I started doing some digital art on Procreate just so I could produce more art more quickly and learn faster. So I've started doing that as well, which has been interesting and fun and terrifying. And no, it's not terrifying. It's just I wish I had the time to actually learn, like, to illustrate and to draw more. Like, I wish I was more, but I just love painting and I love this, this type of medium. So that's what I kind of focus on. All right. I think we have a little bit of an okay start for this. I do think this needs to be, I'll cut some of this roof off, and I'm noticing the perspective needs to slant down a little bit because because of the direction I took the photo was from this side, and it looks like I'm taking it directly on because this looks all in the same proportion. So we need to have this be a tad slope, just a tad, and a tad shorter on this side so that it gives the appearance. And then I may have to draw this way up because my canvas is longer and shorter than my reference photo. So we'll adjust that as we go. But the basic composition is there, the basic idea. And there are some. So let me see if I want to take this, all the way up here maybe, and then put the top of let's just kind of see how that feels before we put in any. That brings us to the top. Then if we take this down a little bit, condense this up, there we go. I think that's going to be better. We'll see. Kind of ruining the value, but it gives us place to go. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to put on, so we got intro and the sketch in about 20 minutes. So I'm trying to do this more efficiently. This being my my intro and getting into painting more quickly, because my other, previous live streams are just, sometimes I yammer on. So what we're going to do is try to put a coat of blue, the sky, on behind here. Just to start covering this, so I'm not too worried about the color, because some of the brown canvas is going to show through anyway. We just need to get paint on the canvas and get it started drying. So that's kind of, we're laying on pretty, I had a lesson on impressionist painting yesterday. Cool. Where was that? Was that like at a local, like at an actual art school or studio or gallery? That sounds really cool. Was it actually a painting lesson, or was it just like more historical about the impressionist movement? That sounds really cool. I am curious to know more, Miss Lola. There's an artist I met in Little Rock who became an artist. It was like his, I think, second career, because he was a college football player and then went to school and got an MFA. But he does impressionist style paintings. This was at the Downriver Council for the Arts. I painted a painting. So cool. That's really cool. I love impressionist style. Like I said, this artist in Little Rock, I saw him paint once, and he uses similar palettes to the impressionist masters, but he does obviously modern, paintings, but the style is impressionist and very, very cool. I just love that type of, and I think obviously a lot of people do. It's interesting because I'm 400 to 500 pages into an 850 page book about Vincent van Gogh, and one of the points that the authors make is that when the Impressionists started to hit the art scene in Paris, literally there was revolting. Like, people were like we do, they were literally hitting the streets. They would show up, and when they would have like a showing or an auction for this artwork, like, it was, they had to call in the authorities to like keep the peace, and people just, but then within, a decade or so, it was like all in vogue. And obviously Impressionism was a major component of the development of modern art. And so it's really interesting to see how people reacted at the time versus kind of how we perceive now Impressionist art. So, all right, now I want to think about what needs to come next. I don't think I'm going to, because the lighthouse sits so low on the painting. I don't think I am going to include much of the grass. Like the reference photo has it kind of sitting back, and there's grass around. I think I am going to do, because again um, my canvas is smaller and I want the lighthouse to be the main focus. So I'm going to do very little with the grass. I may put some in the background like it shows there, but yeah. Now, I think what I need to do is I need to. It's funny, I turned on the heat and now I'm getting warm because I have two shirt and a jacket on. So once you start moving, it gets warmer than it. And I just heard the heater turn on, so I'm sure by the end of this I'll be burning up. Okay. Now, let's go in and start looking at how we're going to mix this. How we're going to mix the kind of brick color. It's kind of an. I'm going to try red, and let me see if my color wheel will tell me anything. Not really. My color wheel is not too sophisticated. All right, I need to add some yellow, which I know. So I think I'm going to take some yellow ochre and maybe some raw sienna. We'll see how it all comes together. And I'm going to yellow ochre and raw sienna after I take a picture, of course, because, you know, I didn't at the beginning, because I don't do that. Hi, Jasmine. Thanks for stopping in. It's good to see you here. All right, so we'll mix. I have just some red, just regular crimson. I might try some brilliant red, which is a little more of an orange red if this doesn't mix correctly. But we'll take a little bit. Let me move your camera up a little bit. Maybe that'll help. Maybe not. I rearranged this camera, and now this arm, it bends, but then it doesn't have a strong enough clamp. Posted the painting on Instagram. Ooh, I will go look for it after this, Lola. Lola was just telling us that she did a lesson and did an impressionist style painting. So I am super interested to see how that goes. Okay, this is actually, I think, coming to a place I like this by using some yellow ochre. It looks very red on your screen. Yellow ochre and some crimson. I'm getting, I think, the type of kind of brown orange I want. It looks more red than it is. We'll get back as quickly as possible into the routine. Welcome back. Welcome back. Sorry about that. I had to start. Something happened with my internet. It went out, and wouldn't restart. And I've never ever had that happen in 50. I think this is 57 episodes of the live stream. So we will see if we can get people back into. Hopefully, people will look for this new stream, and we will get back to it. Kind of crazy. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I guess you are hearing me, but I just realized that my microphone is on the floor. Let me put that on. Ha, that might help. Might sound a little closer. All right. Welcome. As we were, jump into the comments and ask questions or don't. What we're doing here is trying to now put in the color um, for the lighthouse here. So I'm putting a rough kind of orangish brown color on. We'll kind of lay this really as an underpainting. Again, on your screen, it looks much more red and much more severe than on my screen, but I just want to lay that color in. All right, welcome back. Those of you that found me again, I'm sorry about that. My internet connection just glitched, so I ran downstairs. I was prepared for this because I do training online and or will be, and so I am actually plugged in to my Wi-Fi router directly as opposed to relying on Wi-Fi. That was probably a silly thing to do from the beginning, but you know. Okay. Hi there, Slug. Thanks so much for joining from Twitch land. The colors and the sharp angles photos, something out of Team Fortress 2. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, there's nothing new on Earth. These old designed buildings that are maybe, I don't know how old this lighthouse is, but maybe 50, 100 years old. And not a whole lot different in the world, is there? Kind of just the same. Okay, now what I want to do is take a little bit of, I'm going to try some raw sienna. I may have to go darker to like a burnt umber, but I'm going to take some raw sienna and mix this in so that we have a little bit more, yeah, I think I'm going to have to go raw sienna. And I may have to do some ultramarine blue. You wouldn't think ultramarine blue would be, but the blue will be enough to cut the red and it will give us a shadow color. So we'll have our shadow color. See how that does so quickly? Just a little bit of blue brings us into kind of the shadow color, which will be on this side of the building. It's the same tone, but just a little less severe or bright, and that's what's going to give us the appearance of shadow on this side because it's still in the sun, and that's the thing. We can't go too dark because then it looks like it's, you know, dark, but we want to give the appearance of a shadow. Now I can take, on this side, I can do that same shadow color, mixing a little more blue over here, a little more red and brown. We make even a darker shade. That starts to give us some of these darker shadows. We just want to put, we'll have a window in there, so we want to put a little bit of that in. So there's the window there, the window there. Then under the eaves here is a darker shadow. So we'll do that. Probably actually have to darken that even more. Along here, we want to put a line just to indicate that there's a little ledge there. There we go. Blues also, yes, it could be. I think the ocean and it's too far for reflected light, but it is. You get, like, notice down at the bottom of this, the pillar of the white lighthouse, the shadows are much darker down there on the little ledge. So that definitely the surrounding of the ground bouncing kind of this. There's some right in there. There's some reflected light, I think, off the. That's a good catch. Off of the ground and the surrounding area. So absolutely. By kind of mixing all the way through, this gives continuity to the painting. I think when I first started, I didn't know how to mix color at all and was trying to figure it out. And so I would do a lot of things to try to make it look like the exact color, instead of recognizing that the color is the color our eye perceives it next to all the other things around it. So it's really important as you are mixing color to think about not only what does my brain know this color is, but what is it actually, how does it actually appear to my eye, and how does my brain interpret it? And people who are smarter than me can spend all kinds of time, and have spent all kinds of time, arguing and debating this color theory and how colors are perceived and why they're perceived certain ways and all of this. So that is definitely a thing to think about. But I don't get too deep into the weeds in color theory. I'm noticing as I'm painting this painting that I wish I had started it a little, I wish I had composed it a little more consistent with the reference photo, just because I think we're a little too close to it. I think it'll still make a beautiful painting, but I think that, yeah, I think that I wish I had backed it up just a little bit, but that's okay. That is okay. Okay. All right, we have the basics, and the only other thing we're missing now is the roof, the roof line. So I'm not sure how I'm going to do this. I'm going to need to mix some more brown, but value-wise, it's lighter than that shadow under the eaves, so I have to take that into consideration. And let's see what we can do. Let me see. Okay, so we're going to take this right here. We're actually going to bring it. Trying to make adjustments to my original problems with perspective. And we can continue to make adjustments because this is basically just a kind of an underpainting. And I've got a pretty big brush, so I'm not putting any detail in at all yet. But I think this needs to come more like that, so we may paint over some of that. And I need to come down here with, I think, some of the red. Where's my yellow ochre? Where'd you go, yellow ochre? There you are. So glad to do you add a soft layer of color on top of everything, so there isn't too much discrepancy between the colors. Yes, digital art is a nice way to cover a multitude of errors or make adjustments. You can do all kinds of cool things much faster than you can with paint. That's one reason I'm taking up digital art, because I still am using my iPad as if it's a canvas, so I don't do a lot of layers. Like digital layers, I do layering with the, with the quote paint. But yeah, it's definitely an opportunity to fix some kind of things that go wonky, isn't it? Like I'm doing here, except I'm using a total different color. And bring it out like that, maybe. We'll see. It's kind of like painting somebody's face. If you get the perspective wrong, then it looks really weird. So I kind of want to get this right before I go on, because I'm going to now go and paint the sky again. Oh, I think I took it too high. Rats. Rats, rats, rats. That's why I'm doing this. I used to do 100 layers for a simple drawing. Oh, wow. Yeah. That's the other thing with digital art. You could, it's basically your imagination is the only limit. But also you get into situations where perfectionism is like, oh, perfectionism's kind of my enemy, and then I'm spending so much time doing this and so many extra things that, yeah, you kind of have to pick and choose, don't you? All right. That gives us some idea. I always end up crowding lighthouses at the top. But that's all right. We'll figure it out. We'll keep painting until we do. Okay, we're starting to I'm over painting here, but I just can't help it. Okay, stop, Steve, stop. But I can't. Okay. I will stop. I promise. Now, I want to go back to the sky and put another layer there. That way it can begin drying. All right, let's go back. We need some cerulean blue. And we have our white. So let's mix. Again, this will be probably a 3-layer. So we'll just put the paint on. Not too worried. Oh, unless we bring the brown into our sky, which we don't want to do. We'll Yes, I'm jealous. Although I won't be jealous of them in a month or two when it jumps from like 70 degrees to 80 or 70 degrees to like upper 90s in like a week, because that's how it does down there. It goes crazy. But right now, I think Bob said it was like in the 70s today. I was like, ugh, I miss it on days like today. Well, I miss it other times too. I really love that state for what it did, or what it did for me, the opportunities it gave me, and all the amazing friends and good almost decade there in the natural state. Okay. I'm coming up on this pretty severely so that I can, because I think I can paint. I'm going to want pretty precise lines at the end around the lighthouse. That way it looks, you want really sharp lines against the sky. So I'm not too worried about painting, because I can always paint dark over light easier than I can paint light over dark. So in these under coats, I'm not too worried about that. The thing I am going to do is maybe now is mix a little yellow with a little white and the blue. Because if you notice, as the sun gets closer to the horizon, there's actually more green in the, of course, the water and the, I guess it's kind of mountains in the back, but we're just going to suggest that with this there. Then we can get more specific if we want. What I want to do is kind of, as it goes up, I want to bring some of that glow up into the sky, because it is sunset, but so I don't want just blue. I want some of that glow off the horizon. Remember what we said a few weeks ago about the darkest points doesn't show so much in this painting, but darkest points are going to be over away from the sun. The lightest point are going to be down in that corner. So what I'm doing here is prepping this to put some potentially clouds. I'm putting just a suggestion of clouds across the sky, and these are just some what will be, so I'm trying to not leave any hard edges, but they will be the shadow of the clouds. So I mixed a little ultramarine blue and kind of made a brownish gray color behind the mild winter overall, a few days in the mid-teens. Yeah, as few days as possible, right, Bob? Let's keep that to just a few. Okay, so I've kind of modeled the sky, but you can see the start of the clouds. And then all I need to do is come in with a little bit lighter color. I'll show you real quick what we're going to do probably later. But then we just come in with some a little bit lighter color. We just dab that along some of these edges because the shadow of the clouds is already in, so we can very easily suggest clouds because we already have a shadow to support them. That's something, if you remember when I started a year and a half ago, those of you that were around, like I struggled so much with clouds, and that's something I'm really learning more and more is like the reason is because most of us think of clouds as white, and so then we go in with white and then there's nowhere to go. But if you go in with your whatever your like there's very little white actually in these clouds, and it's fairly dark on this side of my palette. This is where I'm pulling the color from, even the lighter color. So that kind of gives you some, or it gave me some understanding of like, oh, that's how clouds work. And it helped me to do, well, I'm getting better and better all the time. I don't think I'm really good at clouds yet, but I am getting better and better. You vary things up. I'm going to bring a little red in here, especially because it's sunset. I said I wasn't going to do this but here I am, right? I was like, oh, I'll just show you. And now I'm getting really detailed with these clouds. That's also one thing that helps, I think, for acrylics to look more oily, if that makes sense. Like oil is you just need a lot of layers, and you just have to be patient. Be willing to do all the layers. With very little effort, then we start looking really beautiful, look like some beautiful clouds. I just don't want to go overboard. I already have, but okay, that's enough. Gonna stop. We have the foundation for our clouds going forward. Now, I really like how that background came together, at least the sky. So we need to really, we're an hour in the next half hour, I really want to get specific with and hone in this, or kind of really dial in this lighthouse. So that is the goal. While I'm cleaning brushes, those of you that are interested in my vlog, that went live today. This morning, I think I told you I found a new, to me, trail. And therefore, I did a vlog post about it with a lot of beautiful footage of the Black Hills. So if you love nature and you want a little peace and serenity in your life, about 10, probably 8 to 10 minutes of this week's vlog is me hiking through the woods with snow and bright sunshine on my new favorite trail. So feel free to check that out here on YouTube. I've started on my YouTube channel. I was for a while looking at like, you know, increasing views and all that stuff, which I think is important. Obviously, otherwise, what's the point of me doing this? But I've started on the YouTube channel putting in capital letters in front of whatever video it is, what type of video it is. So it will say, you know, time lapse or vlog or live stream or whatever the thing is. That way, if you are interested or not interested in, you know, parts of what I'm doing, you can obviously skip the videos. If you're not interested in the vlog, you're just here for the painting. I have also started incorporating segments from kind of a quick peek in the vlog of what I'm doing in the studio. So if you're here for the live stream, you may see components of that and a time lapse and overview in the vlog. I want to start consolidating my channel around art, but I still do enjoy doing the vlogs. So that's kind of how that is going, y'all, or that's kind of the plan. Now, let me see here. Mixing red. I want to go back and really, like I said, dial in this dial in this lighthouse. So I'm trying to remix, at least as close as I can get, the colors I had before. Let's see. Need some more. Where's the yellow ochre? There it is. Come on, yellow ochre, come down here. Play. Okay. This seems like it is the... Oh, it's a little brighter. Okay. I think we need just a tad more. Maybe brown, maybe blue. Just a tad more. Okay, let's start drawing in some detail here on this and make some decisions. I'm trying to draw as precise lines as possible in this case. This way it will stand out against the sky. Okay. I think we got some good. It doesn't really matter if we, as long as our outside lines are very precise, or as precise as we can be right now, that will help us. Okay, let's get really put a little more detail in the window. I need Please note the Arkansas drawl, y'all. Are you referencing my drawl or yours, Bob G? Because I still can't let go of y'all, which is funny because when I first moved to Arkansas, I was like, I will never use that word. I will never use that expression. It's the most awful abuse of the English language. And now I'm just like, if somebody says you or you guys, which is what I grew up with in the Midwest, I'm just like, oh, why are they being so rude? Y'all just sound so much more nice and kind. That part of me is still deep in the South. I was like, I can't let go of y'all. It's just perfect, which is probably why Southerners use it. And I don't understand now, having lived almost 10 years in the South, why the rest of us don't. All right. Let's put this in. There we go. And we'll put a ledge and some stuff around it. Now, let me try to draw as well as I can. This needs to come, we need a dark point that comes here as well. We can bring it pretty far out because it does in the. Then we need a similar on this side, but yeah, we can take it out there. Bring it to meet here in the middle. Okay. You have more of a drawl than I do. That might be true, Bob G. Occasionally I've been accused of letting my Southern out when I say something, especially sounds. Like I just said, I heard it when I said I let my Southern out. Southern out. Um, I don't notice it anymore. I'm like, really? Somebody will say, "Oh, you sounded Southern there." I'm like, really? Oh, crazy, crazy. Okay, let's kind of. This is where it gets dicey for me because it's like, what are? Let's just start. We'll put a very thin, or as thin as we can get, line, shadow under there. The same coming this way. Oh, it's a little thicker. Lesson is I should have reapplied paint, but we can tidy that up. Not too big a deal. All right, in here we have kind of there's some give. Let's see, there, there, there. There. That gives us kind of a framework, at least gives me a framework for where we're going. Now I want to use that same shadow color and put in some decision-making lines right here. Comes down to the roof. We're going to do a line right there. This shadow under here, kind of darken that in. We can always even that out. Notice I'm kind of adjusting the glint or that isn't shadow, so I shouldn't use. That's where I'm appreciating the digital art, because I can switch what's on my quote on my brush very quickly. This is too long. You can paint what's there, or you can paint the shadows around what's there sometimes. So that can always help as well. That starts to give things shape as well. All right, we got about 15 minutes. Y'all is inclusive. Yes, it is. It's better in a sense than you guys or you gals or whatever, because it's whomever is in the room, right? Okay, now let's make some decisions about this. We can always clean it up, but I want to make decisions about shape in these windows. So they're fairly long windows, and they definitely have an arch to them. So let's do that. This one needs to be a little bit narrower because perspective, y'all. And it needs to sit up a little more. So we'll try to do that well, or as well as we can, to indicate that. There we go. Okay. I say okay a lot, so I just noticed I did it. I'm going to try to not fill with dead words. So, speaking of y'all, I did something today that I'm going to see if works. I blocked my calendar with blocks of time, specifically every week, recurring blocks of time. Not that I won't miss some of them, but specifically for painting and specifically for other projects. That way I don't let other projects seep into paint time, and I don't let paint time seep into other project time. So we will see how this idea works over the next, I don't know, however long. And yeah, I will keep you all informed. But let's see. Now I want to do this. I want to get this painted in, except I think I'm going to paint in. I'm going to bring this in a little bit just so it looks more correct. So I think I'm going to paint over like that much of the building, because I notice it's sticking way out beyond the window, and the reference shows it closer, which helps with the whole perspective deal. So let's see what we can do. We need to bring in, where's my yellow ochre? Let's get some yellow ochre on the palette. Bring that into the crimson. So we get that kind of orange color again. Ooh, that's a lot of yellow ochre, but it might work. We can always darken it. It's a little harder to lighten it. So, okay, let's come back in here and start fixing this. We're basically going to do the same thing, just refining our shapes. And like we did with the shadows, we can paint light around the shadows as well. Yeah, I like that. A little more yellow-orange really makes it clear that this is a sunset situation. Situation. I think I used to say when I was a kid. Situation. We'll paint light around the shadows again. There is a little bit of a indent there because of the edge of this There we go. I like how that's going. What do you all think? Okay, we need more red, more yellow, more lello, more lello. Now I'm getting goofy. Must be that time of night. There we go. Okay. And we want to come along here, along that. We need to straight line down. Coming together, coming together. Okay, now, again, we want it more narrow over here, a little more. And I think I only want to come out to here about, well, maybe there. I am not going to put that person that's sitting in the reference in my painting because I just want the lighthouse. So I am just painting that edge. Let me see if I can paint a solid, like a sharp. I think I'll have to do that with the sky color. I'll have to bring the sky back in and carve some of this out. So I'm going to carve all of that out with sky. But what I can do is take a little white and maybe this will be enough just with what's on my paint brush because it needs to be a little like tinted yellow because it's in the, it's like, I'm mixing a color for the trim, but we want it more yellow than red. So I don't want it as pink. I want it more orangey, orangish, orangea. So let's see. Let's see how that comes together. That's really bright. We may mix it some more, but I want to start some. So let me actually start around here. Let's see. Okay. might not work. We'll see. I think I'll have to get a smaller brush, but this can give periodically suggestions of the bricks. Okay, that gives us the start of the windows. We can come back and revise them, but I think it gives us the start. And now we want to come with the trim. Okay, this needs to come all the way to the end. All right, that'll start to give us what we want, I think, once it's blocked in. We'll take that same color and we'll mix it with a little ultramarine blue. To green it down a little bit. That's an official art term, to green it down a little bit. Not really. So, but the blue will put us into the shadows over here. So we can do this basically the same color, but then we can see that we're in the shadows once we go around that corner. I'll have to tighten that up. My brush is not as precise as I wish it were. So I'll have to fix that, I think. But at least it gets us started and is much better shape than we were. darken this just a little bit. So it stands out more. we'll fix that couple of okay, I think the perspective deal is tentatively getting there. There's a few odd, weird angles and things, but overall we're getting there. Okay. The last thing that's bothering me immediately is the skyline. So let's see what we can do, or the roof line, I mean. Let's see if we can clean that up a little bit. Okay. Just putting that little edge on everything, I think really helps. Actually, I'm going to turn this up. Maybe if I can raise that, there we go. I'm going to draw a straight line down. Hopefully it will be more straight than if I try to draw it horizontally. If we can get some of these things to read believably from the perspective standpoint, that really helps. Okay, I like that roof line much better. What do y'all think? Just putting a sharp line, and I haven't even cleared up, the sky around it, but it already is looking much better in my never, ever, ever to be humble opinion. Since I am the artist, I don't have to be humble. No, that's just arrogance. But, I don't want to lose any of this, but I do. There we go. Wow, this is really standing out better, isn't it? At least at a distance. Then what I'm going to do actually is switch to my little tiny brush. Sorry for reaching across your eyeballs there on the palette. I'm going to take my little tiny brush and see if that works, if that helps. I have to take a bigger one, but it's much smaller. And what was I going to do? Oh, I think I was going to put a line. I'm going to turn it up again and do the same thing where I'm going to, there you go, so you can see. I'm going to put this line under here. Oh no, sit right there. I'm going to try to draw as, nope, I didn't mix enough paint. There we go. Now I've mixed enough. Get also some water in it just to thin it out a little bit. Let's see if that'll work. If it will get thin enough. Because we want to come right along that edge. The line's still a little thick, but at a distance I think it will read correctly. I hope. I hope. It's a little puffy down there. I'll have to probably update that corner again. But the lines are starting to look much better in my humble opinion. All right, we got about 10 minutes to, what could we do in 10 minutes? Or less. Or less. How could I, let me, this is driving me crazy because it's so crooked. I have to just fudge it a little bit. Then we'll have to take some of that dark up in there, but there. And it doesn't look like it's falling off the end of the building. Okay. Wonder if I could fix it a little bit. Maybe that way. This is gonna have to be, I'm gonna have to do some more work on this. Whoops. Yeah, there we go. All right, I think the rest is really a lot of detail work. I haven't put any of the suggestion of brick other than down here. I was just kind of testing that technique, but the values look right. Like you can tell its sun is coming from this direction. I'll probably emphasize in the clouds eventually more of the sun just to give it a more dramatic appeal. I'll go and paint the sky around here so that it's, and paint in here so that it is very much in line. Actually, wonder if I can do that in, no, I'm not going to jump. I was like, maybe in 5 minutes I can do this. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to let it be what it is for now. And continue working. This one probably needs another couple hours to do all the clean these corners up, bring this in, make this look correct. Put some, there's the suggestion of the ocean and the mountains in the background, but I want to kind of clean that up to give it more prominence. Bring a little bit of the ground up into this area just so it's firmly planted on something. And then, you know, do all the detail work around the cupola or whatever that's called, where the light sits. Yeah. Oh, and I just noticed there's a smokestack there I didn't put in, and a piece of flashing there along the edge. So yeah, there's a little more work, but I'm really pleased with what we've done so far. So let me do this. Let me switch you all. Let me switch here, whoops, and get rid of that. Hi, y'all. It's been a couple hours, an hour and a half, 2 hours almost. Well, I'm going to move this back then so that it's not rocking you while I'm moving cameras. And now that I have that set, I can do that. Okay, so good deal. We are good to go for today. Well, I am really pleased with what we have done so far. I am excited about where this painting's going. This type of thing that's not just a landscape or is a lot more challenging for me, just because it does require some really fine detail work to make it look right, like getting the perspective right, getting roof lines and things against the sky, getting it, you know, all lined up is a little more technically challenging. But it is a lot of fun to try these things. So it's been great doing that. I hope you have enjoyed this. You all have enjoyed this evening with me painting. I did also today go through, like I had at the very beginning, and on YouTube, I set up the next about 3 months of live streams every Monday night, 6 p.m. Obviously, if there are things that come up or I need to adjust, you know, in the future, I'll let you know ahead of time. But you can go, if you're subscribed on YouTube, you can set reminders for those if you'd like in the app or on your desktop. And they are all, they all say upcoming under the live stream or live video area of my YouTube channel. There, you'll see all of them scheduled out. So I think it's to episode 70. So the next about 15 or 20 episodes are there. And you can keep track of that. Also, if something like happened tonight, you know, and I have to restart the live stream for some reason, you can obviously go right back to YouTube and it'll show when I come back online. But yeah, that is there available for you. I have enjoyed spending the evening with you as always. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you have a great week. And if you haven't checked out the vlog, be sure to do so on YouTube. You can check that out and see where I've been hiking. Next week on the vlog, I'm really excited because in Lead at the end of February or toward the end of February, they do something called Winterfest. The winters around here can be really long. So we have a little weekend-long festival here in town that's kind of fun. They make a big, huge pile of all the old Christmas trees and create a giant bonfire. So we did that last night or 2 nights ago. And, you know, the community comes out and it was a beautiful evening. It was in the mid 30s. So it was cold, but not as freezing as it is tonight. You know, it's negative 10 or 15 degrees right now. Actually, I'm curious. Let's look. Negative 14 degrees. So good guess. Yeah, we would not have been standing out very long to watch the fireworks. There's also fireworks over the open cut, which is an old surface mine that used to be here, that has been closed now, but they shoot fireworks off the top of the open cut here in town. So you'll get to see that on next week's vlog. So that's something to look forward to. All that round around to say, look forward to the vlog next week. That said, it has been good chatting with you. Thanks so much for joining. Keep in touch on YouTube, of course, as well as Instagram. You can follow not only my paintings in studio, but also the digital paintings I'm working on the iPad. I label those with Procreate, and you can see which ones are digital. I've started putting those live streams out, or those time lapses out there as well. So hope you enjoy those. I've also been uploading those to the YouTube channel. So you may see some. I try to, on the thumbnail, make it very clear that it's Procreate. That is the digital art or digital software that I use. That way you can know what's the time lapse, this type of time lapse versus the Procreate. So anyway, it's all there on Instagram and YouTube, and I will see you next week. Have a great one.